up, YouTube? It's your girl, Aniya La'Nae, the one and only Aniya La'Nae. We're not going to do no further talking. We're just going to get right into
Okay, guys,
the
on
video.
today's video, we're going to be doing some military content. If you don't know, now you know. I am active duty in the military, so that's like majority of my life. Like 5 days out the week, I am suited and booted, ready to go. So I just wanted to bring more of the military like into my content because that's literally my life. I love it, but that's my life. So I had went on Instagram and I told you guys to ask me some questions that you like would just want to know regarding the military in general. So that's basically what this video is going to be about, and I'm gonna just go ahead and get into the questions. No more rambling because that's obviously not what y'all came here for. So let's get into these questions. Okay, guys, so out of all the questions, a lot of them are like the same because a lot of y'all want to know the same stuff. So I narrowed it down to like 6 questions because again, I don't want this to be a long video. I'm gonna have plenty of time to do military content, so we're just gonna keep it nice, short, and simple. So the first question is, why the Army? I'll tell y'all the story time y'all gonna think I am crazy, but it's really not crazy, so I'm gonna just break it down for you. If you know me, you know. If you don't, here you go. I was going to Claflin University, you know, doing my big one at the big HBCU, best HBCU out there. Anyways, I had lost my car. My car died on me, like full on died. And because I was a broke college student, that wasn't for me. I want to do too much in life to not have any money, and college was expensive. It was just not working out for me. Remind you, I always wanted to go to the Army, but I was just like, I wanted to at least give college the try first. Like, I wanted to experience college while I was still young so I could be there. But after like halfway through the semester, it was like October when I started my process to join the military back in 2022. So I would say, I'm trying to see if that really answering why I joined the military or why I chose Army. Maybe the question asking why Army out of all the branches. I can answer that too. I chose Army out of all the other branches like Navy, Air Force, Marines, all that stuff because I have prior service family members in the military. Like, one person I go to for all of my guidance served in the U.S. military, and so did her husband. So I feel like if I ever needed any advice, like military-wise or just the Army in general, I was going to be able to get it from her. So I just feel like that was going to help my experience. And again, I never really looked at any other branch besides the Navy. I'm not even going to lie. I did consider joining the Navy, but I really just feel like that wasn't going to be for me because I went to basic from January to March. It's really cold then, and the Navy, you gotta be in that water. It's real cold, and I didn't want to do that. I'm not gonna lie, I didn't. I love the Army real bad, and don't try to argue about me. Don't try to argue with me about what branch is the best because I promise you, even if it's not the Army, I'm going to argue like it is because it is. Just gonna clap it up for Army one time. I guess that really answered that question. I hope it does. To the person that answered that, I do think if any branch, if you're considering, go Army. Go Army. The next question is the wildest place you've slept. So since I've joined my unit in South Korea, I have not been to the field. I work in the garrison, so I'm like really behind the desk all day. So I think I would have to say the wildest places when I was in basic and AIT. AIT, we was in this huge tent with a little cot, so that wasn't really nothing. That was really slight compared to what I was doing back in basic. In basic, I was leaving outside for 3 nights at a time, 2, 1 night. I was really outside, like no tent. Outside. Like if it was to start raining, I was gonna get wet. I think the wildest place was probably during the anvil. When you go to basic training, you go through 3 stages of going out, like sleeping outside. It's the hammer 1 night, the anvil, which is 2 nights, and then the forge, which is 3. I would say the anvil would have to have been the weirdest because all of them were outside, yes, but when we did the anvil, we had to sleep in a hole. And when I say sleep in a hole, I mean we had the e-tool, which is a shovel. We dug a literal hole. Like, we had to do it as deep as the coffin would go, so we were digging for hours. Like, we got to that place where we were going to sleep at, and they just had us digging till it got dark outside. They wanted us to be able to, like, basically stand up in it. And I'm 5'2", so they wanted it to be, like, basically 6 foot. So we had to dig into the ground, and then put, like, our tarp and our sleeping bag. And some people was, like, real creative with it because it was supposed to rain. So we put, like, sticks into the ground and then our tarp over it. So, like, you got this big old, like, hole, like, in the shape of a, what type of shape is that? Like a bathtub, basically. It was shaped like a bathtub, and then we had like tarps over it. That might have been the wildest. It was actually like that was the best experience because the first time during the hammer, it was freezing. During the anvil, it was nice and warm, and then the forge, it froze. So that was honestly the best time out of all the times I slept outside. But I would say that was the weirdest because I was in a literal hole. Like, the whole time I was sleeping, I was scared that something was gonna, like, you know how it's like worms and stuff in mud? I was so sick that I was gonna wake up and it was gonna be like a worm crawling. Like, I don't care how army I am not okay with nothing crawling over my face or in my ear. I was not okay with that. So that's the answer to that question. Moving on, I would say the next question is, what hours do you work? I guess I can also talk about my job with this one. I am a 56 mic, which is a religious affairs specialist. I work in a chapel, in other words, a church, some people would say. So for right now, while I'm in a garrison, because again, everybody says it's different depending on if you're in a brigade or a garrison or just your supervisor in general, like your chain of command. But I work from 0930 to 1700, which is military time. So if you guys don't know what that is, that's 9:30 in the morning to 5 o'clock in the afternoon. That's the standard time. But if I'm done with my work around like 3:30, 4 o'clock, they'll just let me leave early instead of me just sitting in there looking at the wall, looking at the paint. But I think the latest is going to be 5, but I usually leave around 3:30 to 4 o'clock. But again, that also depends on your unit. A lot of people will watch military videos and think that's going to be their experience. Me, I watched so many basic training videos before I went to basic, and it was nothing like any of the videos at all. So for the hours that I work, 0930 to 17, which again is 9:30 in the morning to 5 o'clock, a regular 9 to 5 job. I do PT in the morning, that is at 6 o'clock, but I don't really count that as working because, you know, it's literally just working out. Before joining the military, I would definitely count that, but I'm used to it now, so I'll probably work out for 45 minutes, and then I have like a 2 to 3 hour gap to get ready for work. So I don't really count that because I still come back here and sleep and eat and get ready for work. So I guess that answers that question. Next. How was basic training? Basic training to me, with the experience that I went through, was, I would say, a 9 out of 10 experience. If I could do it again, I would, but it would have to be the same exact people. Like, the people say like you don't have, so you can do it by yourself, but basic training, the people I had and the friends I had got me through basic. Like, without them, like, I was ready to tap out week 3. So when I tell you, it really just depends on what attitude you have and the environment that you're in. I wasn't around toxic people. My drill sergeants, they were drill sergeants now. They was definitely doing their job, but it wasn't to the point where I just felt like I was around toxic people where I was just like in a bad mood all the time. The only thing that really gets to me in basic, well, got to me when I was in basic, was obviously, of course, not being able to talk to my man. My family too, but my man. It was really like, I'm not even gonna say it was hard not having a cell phone because I'm not addicted to my phone. By week 2, I was used to not being on my phone every day, because you only get your phone Sunday for like 30 minutes or an hour depending on that week. Like, I've gotten in trouble sometimes, well, not me, but us as a whole have gotten in trouble in basic. So one time I think we had a 30-minute phone call. When I tell you I was so sick that week, I was so sick. You mean to tell me it was a whole group of people that got in trouble, but it was like, we're a team, so we all faced the consequences for that. So when I tell you that 30-minute phone call, oh my god, I was so sick. I was crying majority of the phone call because I had 30 minutes, like, so sick. I would say basic training was honestly good. It was, obviously, I'm not gonna say it was easy, because going into basic, the person I was then, I'm not now. I do think I am a stronger individual, and basic training is what taught me that I was a stronger individual than I actually was to begin with. So yeah, that's my basic was. It's like a 2-part question, so I'm reading it from my phone right here, y'all. But it also says the toughest obstacle through the entire thing so far. I don't know if that meant basic so far or like my military experience in general, but I can do both. My toughest obstacle in basic, I would have said, was rucking, and that's like still really tough for me now, because rucking is like this huge backpack. If you know me, I am 5'2", so that's like from here to like the lower part of my butt. That's how big the bag is, and then you like have to put a whole bunch of stuff in, and you basically just walk. But it's not even just the walking, it's because of how heavy the bag is and how it's placed on your hips. And then if you're going up hills, like, it just really depends on how you're doing it. But that is like the hardest thing for me in the Army, just because of how small I am. I think the hardest thing throughout the entire process of the military, I would say, was my transition from going to live in America to South Korea. That was a big adjustment. because obviously I didn't request South Korea as a private. I didn't ask for anything, but that's not what I expected to get. I was really shook and I was really sad, to be honest. I didn't want South Korea. But I wish I had the attitude that I have now when I first got here. Because now like, I'm happy to be here. I'm trying to like give it a chance and experience living in another country on the Army's dime. When I first got here, I was just like, no, I hate this. I don't want to be here. I want to go back home. Like, I was really homesick. But I would just say the adjustment to move into another country. If you're watching this and you just found out you're getting stationed in South Korea or anywhere that's not in the States, just as hard as it's going to be and as much as you're going to miss your family, just try to give it a chance, because I have 5 months left and you couldn't tell me 6 months ago that the time was going to go by as fast as it did. Like, I promise you, time goes by really fast when you're overseas. Like, I don't even notice it. Like, Valentine's Day is in 2 weeks. Just like that, it's going to be February. So that's really all that I can answer for that question. The next one is, if you could give advice to people going straight into the military after high school, what would you say? So I kind of say I came in straight out of high school, because by the time I got into the military, it was January of 2023. Originally, I was in class of 2023, but I graduated a year early, putting me in class of 2022. So I went to college just for a little gap. I guess people could say that's like the gap of a summertime is how long I was in college, to be honest, maybe about like 4 months. But if you're going straight out of high school, I do recommend that. Like, I'm not going to say I wasted my time going to college, because I love the experience and I'm happy I did get to experience that in my lifetime. But if you're thinking about going to the military, like, it's even in the back of your mind, I would say just do your research, talk to a recruiter or just anybody that you know. You can put comments here. I don't mind answering them. Just ask people about it, because it could be something that you're thinking, oh, I don't want to join the military or the army for this reason, and the whole time that could not even, like, that's probably not even a thing. So I really would just say, like, do your research and actually get out and talk to recruiters. Because just because you're asking questions or talking to a recruiter doesn't mean that you have to go. Like, the recruiter's they're going to try and push you now, but they're not forcing you. Like, you have to sit there and sign that paper yourself. You have to get up there and choose to go to the military yourself. So I would just say do your research and really, like, just think about it. Since I joined the military, I've become like the biggest recruiter for it, and it's not on purpose. I just like the way that my life is set up now. Like, I continue to go to college once I got to South Korea and enroll online, because remind you, the military is paying for you to go to school for free. You get your GI Bill, but while you're in this military, they're also paying it. They're also paying for it for free. So I'm still getting my degree, and I'm also getting to flourish in the career that I have now. As I can tell, I did just get promoted last Friday. I've been promoted 2 times since I've been in Korea. So I would just say that, like, just do your research, because while come out of high school, people have a lot of expectation to think that they have to immediately step into what they're going to do for the rest of their life, and it gives them a really overwhelming feeling to not be a failure. And I promise, if you really just sit down and think about what you want to do in the long run, that's going to actually help you. I sound so wise, y'all. So wise. I think it's just because I'm married. I'm sorry, y'all. It's not time for that. Watch the last video if you want to see my marriage clips. But that is really all to really sum up this video of our first military content. I didn't really want to do too much run-on talking. I just wanted to answer some of the questions that I feel like really stuck out to me. It was another question, but for some reason I don't see it on here anymore. I don't know if it deleted itself or not, but oh, it was about how do you pick your duty station. You cannot, I don't know how to word this. When you first got an AIT, you're not picking your duty station unless that was prior, like when you did in your contract. I know some people who are in basic who got to pick their duty station, so they knew where they were going from jump. But 9 out of 10, you cannot pick your duty station coming fresh out of AIT and basic. I did not pick Korea. I was just sent here. But now that I am about to go to my next duty station, what I did was I reached out to my branch manager and I told them where I wanted to go. I also put in like the military system with my information where I wanted to go, the top 3. Around the time that I hit my like 6 or 7 months out, they emailed me and was like, this is what is available for you. You can pick out of these 5 places. So I picked where I'm going next, and that's really how it is for me. I think that's how it's going to be for the next couple of duty stations, where they give you a list and you can pick. Unless you're like re-enlisting and you're in your re-enlistment window, you have a better chance at getting the pick like from there, because they're trying to get you to re-enlist. So you picking where you go is a higher chance at that moment in time than any other time in the military, because they really put you, especially privates like E4 and below, they really put you where the Army needs you and where they see you fit. It's not really like a picking thing. But again, go everywhere with your own experience, because a lot of people would base where they're going based off of something they heard, and every experience is going to be different based on that person and that place. So yeah, that is the end of this video, y'all. I really hope y'all enjoyed this military content. If there's any type of certain content y'all would like me to do military wise, y'all can just drop that in the comments or anywhere on my social media platforms. I hope y'all enjoy. Make sure you like, comment, and if you're not, you know you want to, go ahead and subscribe. You watched the video this long, go ahead and subscribe to the channel.